And at the end of chasing feelings, the man realizes he has collected nothing but evaporated moods. You sacrifice decades of your one brief life, all for a few moments of emotional intoxication. When I say at the end of chasing feelings, the man realizes he has collected nothing but evaporated moods, I am pointing at something brutal. You spend your life chasing states, feeling loud, feeling respected, feeling excited, feeling high, alive, validated. But what are these? Really? They don't stay, they don't accumulate, they don't build into anything solid. They are like trying to store smoke in your hands. You can have the most intense emotional moment today and tomorrow gone. No residue, no substance, no permanence. Now look at the second line. You sacrifice decades for a few moments of emotional intoxication. This is harsher. I'm saying your decisions, relationships, career moves, risks, even your identity are often not based on truth. They are based on how something makes you feel in the moment. So, what happens? You stay in the wrong relationship because it sometimes feels good. You chase success because you want the feeling of being someone. You scroll, distract, fantasize for micro hits of stimulation, and slowly years go by. Not in truth, not in clarity, but in pursuit of emotional highs. You are not living your life, you are chasing temporary chemical states inside your body and calling that living. Why this matters? Feelings are unreliable. They rise, they peak, they collapse. If your life is built on them, your life becomes unstable. That's why motivation comes and goes, happiness comes and goes, confidence comes and goes, because all of them are feelings. So, what I am really pointing you toward, not suppression, not becoming emotionless, but seeing clearly, feelings are experiences, not truth. Once you see that, you stop organizing your entire life around what feels good or what feels right, because what feels right today can destroy you tomorrow. Imagine you are building a house, but instead of using bricks, you use clouds. Soft, beautiful, pleasing. Every day you gather more clouds, thinking, this is amazing, my house is growing. But one day you step back, there is no house, just empty sky. So, a man who lives for feelings will always feel like he has lived fully until the moment he sees he has built nothing that remains. How and why it is evaporated modes? Because a feeling is not a thing. You are trying to treat it like something you can own, store, return to. It isn't. It behaves more like heat on your skin than like an object in your hand. Let's see it clearly. A feeling is just a chemical surge in the body, a pattern of thought in the mind, a reaction to a moment. That's it. It has no structure, no memory of itself, no ability to remain. Why it must evaporate? Because your system is designed that way. If a high stayed forever, excitement would become normal, pleasure would become background noise, intensity would disappear. So the body does something very precise. It normalizes everything. This is called adaptation. The first time feels powerful, the second time feels less, the 10th time barely anything. Think of it like this. You step into cold water. At first, shock, intense, alive. Stay there long enough, and what happens? The same water feels normal. Did the water change? No, your system adjusted. There was once a man who discovered a rare kind of gold, not the kind buried in earth. This gold appeared only in moments. When someone looked at him with desire, a spark of gold. When he stood in a beautiful place, another spark. When music rose, when laughter surrounded him, when success brushed his name, gold, gold, gold. But there was something strange about it. The gold was warm, alive, intoxicating, and it began to fade almost immediately. At first, he didn't notice. He was too busy collecting. He ran from place to place. A crowded city gave him bright electric gold. A beach gave him soft glowing gold. A lover gave him deep melting gold. A victory gave him sharp blinding gold. Each time he said, this is it, I must gather more. So he tried. He closed his fists around it. He took pictures. He replayed memories at night. He told stories to others. You should have been there. It was incredible. But every time he opened his hands, there was nothing. Confused, he changed his strategy. Maybe I need better gold. So he chased bigger cities, deeper love, louder nights, higher success, and yes, the gold became more intense. But it also vanished just as fast. Years passed. His life looked rich from the outside. He had been everywhere, done everything, felt everything, but inside, his hands were always empty. One evening, exhausted, he stopped chasing. No music, no movement, no stimulation, just a silence. And in that silence, he finally saw it. The gold was never gold, it was mist. Warm, glowing mist that appeared when conditions were just right. A certain place, a certain person, a certain moment. And like all mist, it was never meant to be held, only to be passed through. He looked back at his life, all those years. He hadn't been collecting treasure, he had been chasing weather. And then the understanding came quietly. It did not betray him by disappearing. Disappearance was its nature. The mistake was not that moods evaporated. The mistake was believing they could become something that remains. So he sat there, empty handed, but for the first time, not confused, because now he knew you can walk through mist, you can feel it, you can even enjoy it. But the moment you try to build a life out of it, you will spend your years holding on to nothing. Most men idiotically spend their time, years on earth, chasing the flickers of moods. You have been drugged by feeling. Every human being has. The world has told you that feeling good is the purpose of existence. That to feel love, to feel excitement, to feel achievement is to live fully. So you run, you chase, you sacrifice decades of your one brief life, all for a few moments of emotional intoxication. You get the job for the feeling of success. You get the woman for the feeling of being wanted. You buy the car, the house, the watch for the feeling of significance. You even seek spiritual awakening for the feeling of peace. But feelings are treacherous things. They are sand. They do not hold shape. You feel joy for a few seconds and it evaporates. You feel love for a while and it turns to attachment, to dependence, to fear. You feel successful and soon you are restless again, chasing a higher mountain. Most people organize their lives around how they want to feel, not around truth, not around craftsmanship, not around understanding what actually matters to them, around feelings. And that's what it calls being drugged by feeling. Not literally drugged, though substances can fit the pattern too, but psychologically conditioned to keep seeking emotional states. You get the job for the feeling of success. You get the woman for the feeling of being wanted. You buy the car, the house, the watch for the feeling of significance. This is an uncomfortable observation because it points out something subtle. Often the external object is just a vehicle. You say you want money. Sometimes what you actually want is security, admiration, relief, status, proof that you matter. Money is just the delivery system. Same with relationships. You may say, I want love. But sometimes what is being sought is validation, companionship, escape from emptiness, reassurance that you are desirable. Again, the person becomes a vehicle for a feeling. Why does this become a trap? Because feelings are unstable. Not because feelings are bad. They aren't. They are a normal part of being human. But they are terrible foundations for a life strategy. Why? Because feelings fluctuate based on novelty, hormones, environment, comparison, stress, sleep, memory, expectation. So if your life is built around how can I feel successful, loud, excited, peaceful, you are building on moving sand. That is what I am trying to say. They are sand. They do not hold shape. You say my feelings. They are not yours. They are events. A moment happens. A woman smiles. A deal closes. Music hits. A city lights up at night. What follows is not meaning. It is a biological spike. Dopamine rises. Anticipation, reward. Norepinephrine sharpens you. Alertness. Serotonin shifts. Status, mood. Endorphins soothe or intensify. The body surges. For every window, the system is amplified. You call that this is life. Now watch carefully. The body cannot remain in a spike. It returns to baseline, always. This is not philosophy, it is regulation. If the spike stayed, it would stop feeling like a spike. Your system would normalize it. The high would become neutral. So the system does what it must. It dampens the surge. This is why the same thing excites you less over time, needs to be intensified, becomes ordinary. Now the second layer begins, the mind. The body has already come down, but the mind says, that was important, that meant something, I need that again. So it creates a story, not truth, story. The story says, New York made me feel alive. That person made me feel complete. That success proved who I am. Look closely, the place didn't do it. The person didn't do it. The success didn't do it. They triggered a chemical event, that's all. But the mind cannot tolerate that simplicity. So it converts chemistry into meaning and meaning into pursuit. Now your life changes, not because of truth, but because of remembered spikes. You begin to organize your life around where can I feel that again? So you move to new cities, to new people, to new highs, to new identities, all in service of another spike. This is what is meant by you sacrifice decades, not in a dramatic way, quietly, daily, choice by choice. You choose the job that gives a feeling, the relationship that gives a feeling, the lifestyle that gives a feeling. You are not choosing reality, you are choosing anticipated sensation. Now the final cut. Why evaporated modes? Because nothing remains. The chemical spike ends, the body resets, the story fades or distorts. What you are left with is a memory, incomplete, unreliable, a craving for repetition, but nothing you can stand on, nothing that accumulates, nothing that stabilizes you. You say, but it felt real. Of course it did. A dream feels real while it is happening. Reality is not determined by intensity. Read this slowly. The intensity of a feeling is not proof of its importance. So you spend years not building, not understanding, not seeing, but cycling. Spike, meaning, pursuit, spike, crash, repeat. And one day, if you are quiet enough, you see it. You are not living a life. You are maintaining a neurochemical loop and calling it a life. That is what it is called emotional intoxication. Because, like any intoxication, it feels powerful, it alters perception, it fades, it leaves you wanting more. And that is why it is called evaporated modes. Because they leave no structure behind, only the urge to chase the next one. If this lands even slightly, something changes. Not your behavior immediately, but your illusion begins to crack. And that is the beginning of seeing. So listen carefully. You did not waste your life because feelings came and went. That's natural. You waste it when you build your life around chasing them, as if one day they will stay. They won't. Every high you've ever had, success, love, travel, validation, pleasure, was a temporary spike. Felt deeply, gone completely, no accumulation, no lasting structure. And yet, most of your decisions are shaped by, will this make me feel something? That's the trap. Because now your life is no longer guided by clarity or truth, but by the promise of a future emotion. So decades pass, not in stupidity, not in failure, but in misunderstanding. You keep trying to turn moments into something permanent. They were never designed for that. The real shift. Not stop enjoying life, not avoid pleasure, but say this clearly. A feeling is an experience, it is not something you can build a life on. Final line. If you don't see this, you will keep upgrading your experiences while repeating the same pattern, and at the end, it won't matter how intense it all felt, because nothing you chased was ever meant to remain.